Hi there, if you don't already know me, this is my channel Shy's Designs and I'm Cheyenne. I am here to breathe life back into furniture and make beautiful pieces affordable again. Let's get started. To open up this video, we have a 2-door buffet here. This awesome piece I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace for $60. I'm so excited to get started because I'm trying a new technique this time. The transformation should be pretty dramatic. Let's see how it went. First, I took off the doors, then I gave the whole thing a good cleaning with some crud cutter and a microfiber towel just to prepare the surface for some major sanding. I then removed the glass insert that was placed in the middle and gave the piece another quick wipe under there. Next, I had to remove all of the staples that were randomly placed into this piece. There were so many and none of them were doing anything for the piece. It was actually a pretty tedious task. I actually had trouble getting a few of them out, and I ended up injuring a knuckle pulling one of them so hard, and I hit the frame of the wood, and I had to wear a splint for a few days. The dicey life of being a furniture flipper. For sanding, I used 60 grit sandpaper to get any of the top coat and stain off the main body of this piece. It actually wasn't as time consuming as I thought it might be. There was a long and deep scratch across the top that I had to spend a little bit more time on, but everything came out smoothly and made me very happy. After I sanded back everything I desired, I went forward and made my solution to start bleaching the wood. This is one of 2 things that I have never done before, and I'm really excited to try it. I used a 1-to-1 ratio of bleach to water. The solution worked fantastically. I sprayed the piece all over once, and I rubbed it in with a towel, and then I sprayed it one more time and I just let it soak in and dry over a few hours. After that 1.5 coat, it lifted almost as light as I wanted it to be. There were a few blotchy areas, so I just applied the bleach to those few blotchy areas until I was happy with the color. While the piece's natural wood color was lifting, I proceeded to remove the staples and hot glue that was on the doors holding the chicken wire on. I planned on reusing the chicken wire, so I had to remove each staple until it came free. The task wasn't too hard since the person that put it on the outside of the frame of the door. I used pliers to pry out the staples, then used wire cutters to cut the wire to fit the inside of the frame of the door. Next, I filled any and all holes the staples left behind on the door and then sanded the doors smooth. I ended up reattaching the chicken wire first to spray paint it so that it would get a good even coat. I did this because chicken wire likes to curl when it's not being in use, which would have made it harder for me to spray paint in the long run. As you can see, after 2 coats of bleach and a few touch-up spots, the wood lifted to a gorgeous bleached color. To give it even more of a bleached color, I decided to use a whitewash stain by Varathane. I've also never whitewashed a piece, so I was interested to see how this would go. This actually lightened up the piece perfectly, and I was so happy with the finish. I sanded it lightly with a 200 grit to get any raised areas that the stain caused while applying. Now for the bits of this piece that I didn't sand. I wanted to paint these bits with a pretty off-white color called Crisp Linen by BEHR. It is absolutely gorgeous and perfect for the piece. I mixed my chalk teak transformer with water and then added my paint to that mixture to make my chalk paint. I applied my paint with my Wooster flexible brush because I wanted the brush texture on this piece. After doing that first coat, I then sanded down the door fronts and painted those with the crisp linen as well. When you look inside this piece, it looks to me that there used to be a shelf here, so I decided to measure out some wood that I had on hand. It's about a 1/2 inch thick, and to make a quick shelf for this piece to give it a really finished look. I checked to make sure that it fit. It is a decorative piece, so it doesn't have to be super thick if you don't want it to be. And then I whitewashed the wood as well. Luckily, I didn't have to bleach it because it already had a beautiful bleach tone to it anyways. I let it dry and I set it aside. Next, I spray painted my hardware and handles with a matte Farmhouse black, the same black that I used on my chicken wire. To finish off the bleached wood areas, I wanted to make it super soft to get it prepped for the top coat, so I gave it a quick sand with 400 grit sandpaper. Now that I had decided what I wanted to do with the back piece, I decided to remove all the staples and to give the back piece a quick makeover. The whitewash directions said that it could apply to just about anything, so I thought, why not this back piece? I applied it and I actually love how it turned out. I stapled it back on after it dried, and then I moved on to my next task. Here I am now applying the paint to the doors with a generic chalk paint brush from Walmart. I only wanted the chicken wire black on the door, so I painted everything else with the crisp linen color. I did actually end up taking off the wire so I didn't get any paint on it, and then I just reapplied the wire back on after everything was dry. Now that our doors are done and the hardware is dry, we get to put everything back on and see how this baby looks. After everything was back on, I did want to use my new antiquing gel from Heirloom Traditions in the color Oil Rubbed Black to really give it that rustic antique farmhouse look. The application was pretty easy, and it did take a little bit of trial and error because this is also a new task for me. I found it easier to work with if I worked with one stroke at a time. So I would put in a small area and then I would use a damp cloth and wipe it back as much as I wanted to blend the gel. Now to seal this piece. I didn't want to change the color or the texture. I wanted a really rustic, raw, and natural look for this piece, so I used my clear wax by Magnolia Home. It was a super easy application like usual. I take a dry microfiber towel and just rub it right on. I'm not typically a huge fan of the antique farmhouse look, but this transformation definitely converted me. Wow. So like I said in the beginning, I spent $60 on this piece. I spent $5 on my paint color crisp linen, and for the bleach, the whitewash, the gel, and the wax, those are all bulk items, so no cost calculated here. I did use the original pools and the chicken wire that came on it, so no cost there. And I'm still not sure what my hours are going to calculate out to, but it only took me 1 day to flip this piece, and about 2 hours of active work. So that's not bad at all. So in total, I spent $65 to flip this furniture, and I posted it for about $300 because that was fair market value. I sold it about a week later for $275. That puts my profit at $210. You guys, the profit being at $210 wasn't even the best part about this flip. When my buyer showed up to buy this piece, and pick it up and take it home with them, I had no idea, but they were a subscriber and they had seen my channel. He had nothing but nice things to say, and I am so very grateful. It truly warms my heart and makes this job so much more worth it. Thank you so much for all of the support and love you guys give me, and I can't wait to produce more content like this.
Brian. Nice to meet you, Brian. Nice to meet you.
It was very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hopefully everything keeps going good because it's good work. So
Thank you.
I really like the coffee shop thing.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me and coming on yet another adventure. A subscriber bought this piece. Oh my god! I'm so happy. If you enjoyed this video or happened to learn something, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. I post every Sunday. See you then. Okay, no. Okay.